Hi, this is Trepacer. Welcome to Trepacer Saturday Reviews. Like I mentioned in my blog this morning, I did get to see The Gift I wanted to see. So I got to see that, and also got back in time to watch Justice League, Gods and Monsters. So I'm going to talk about The Gift, which is actually written and directed by Joel Edgerton. Uh, the Gift, I don't know if you can see that or not. Sorry, yeah, The Gift, there it is. The Gift. Anyway, this movie stars Justin Bateman as Simon, Rebecca Hall plays Robin, his wife, and Joel Edgerton plays Gordo. It's basically Simon and Robin are a young married couple who just moved back to California from Chicago, and you can tell that the wife had, she had a sort of a kind of a mental breakdown, but Simon has a job with I think it's a security company, and they moved to this nice house. And when they're out one day, they happen to run into a guy named Gordo. He runs into them, and he sort of recognizes Simon and kind of reintroduces himself and said, "Listen, we knew each other in high school." And of course, Gordo, he said he sort of remembers a little bit, and they basically give him their number, and they take off, and then of course he actually gets, they invite him to dinner one day, and Simon, at first, Simon, Gordo, played by Joe Egerton, is he's a little odd, but he's, talking, he seems friendly at first, and the wife, Robin, is kind of receptive to him, even though Simon, Jason Bateman's character, I think it's a little weird how he's kind of imposing himself. He drops off gifts and stuff. I think he even gives them fish for their little pond they have in front of their house. He gives them, and he gives them little gifts, and Simon, Jason Bateman's character, is a little uneasy with this at first, and then he remembers, where he remembers Gordo from high school, and I think he calls him Gordo the Weirdo. I think he said that was the nickname they had him, and he thinks that Gordo is kind of imposing himself a little bit too much in their life, and basically, he talks with his other friends and said, you basically kind of have to cut off the friendship because, this guy's not getting the hint, so you're gonna have to kind of, cut off the friendship, and of course, then, they do a little bit more digging, they kind of cut off the friendship, but then, weird things start to happen to them, and they actually contact the police, and then they find out, of course, that Gordo is not who he says he is. Okay, and I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to spoil too much of the rest of it. But basically, weird things start to happen, specifically to Robin when she's at home, because she's she's kind of recovering and she's kind of working from home, and Simon, Jason Bateman's character, is at work, and she starts to have these weird things start to happen to her, and of course, Simon thinks it's Gordo doing this weird stuff, and of course his wife is trying to ask him, what was your relationship like with this Gordo in high school, and he kind of, and Simon kind of blows it off. He's not really being forthcoming with the wife, and she kind of starts investigating on her own. And this movie is, I have to say, one of the best movies I've seen in a year. This was actually written and directed by Joel Edgerton, which I know he directed it, but I know he wrote it as well. And this is, like I said, one of the best movies I've seen this year. It's just, it's a psychological, yeah, it is a little psychological thriller, and you find, things slowly start to get revealed as the movie goes along, and I think you get great performances from Jason Bateman and specifically Joel Edgerton as Gordo, who's this weird guy, and you don't know where he's quite coming from, and then of course you have Rebecca Hall, who's the confused wife, wondering, what is it between her husband and this Gordo guy, and why is he in their life, and what the big deal is. And it slowly kind of unravels, and things get revealed slowly but surely, and it's just a movie with tension and dramatic stuff in it. And Jason Bateman, I think, is outstanding. There's several scenes, specifically a scene later in the movie that takes place in a parking garage, which I don't want to spoil, that just really shows you just how really a good dramatic actor Jason Bateman is. And like I said, Joel Edgerton does a great job directing this movie. It's just really, tightly paced, and the scares are there, and his performance too as Gordo is good as well. And it's just a creepy movie that gets creepier and creepier as it goes along, and the ending will just will have you thinking long after the movie's over. It's just really fantastic. Like I said, one of the best movies I've seen this year. I'm going to give The Gift an 8.5. It's just really, really good. I definitely highly recommend you see The Gift. It's really totally worth checking out. Great performances by the whole cast and great direction by Joel Edgerton. Hopefully he gets nominated. For his first directorial effort, this is fantastic, in my opinion. So hopefully maybe he gets nominated for screenplay and for a director. Who knows? But in my opinion, totally worth seeing. 8.5. Go see The Gift. Anyway, the next movie I'm going to talk about is Justice League Gods and Monsters. I saw this, of course, when I was seeing Batman and Robin, they had a preview to this Gods and Monsters. This is basically takes place in an alternate universe. Basically, in this alternate universe, Zod is the father of Superman in this. They even show you a little bit of the backstory in the beginning of the movie when it starts off, where Jor-El is, getting ready to put his DNA into a rocket, to form the sun, like you see in Man of Steel, to form the basis of of his sun. When General Zod burst in and actually, as Krypton is exploding, and puts his DNA into the rocket, which forms Kal-El, who gets sent back to Earth, and he's actually raised by Mexican immigrants, okay, in harsh conditions. And then, of course, Batman is, in this version, it's not Bruce Wayne. It's Kurt Langstrom, who has, I think they give him lymphoma, or leukemia. Maybe it's leukemia, I think it is. And he becomes, of course, in seeking a cure, he becomes basically a vampire, and with vampire powers. And so he's the Batman in this movie. And then you have Wonder Woman is Becca. She's the widow queen from the world of Darkseid. She's the High Father's granddaughter in this movie, and of course she, they work for the government, and they actually form the Justice League. Those three, and they're actually brutal in their methods. They kill villains. They don't kill civilians. They answer to the government, but they kind of really don't. But they, like I said, they often kill the villains, despite the government trying to hold them back, and the government tolerates them anyway. And up until the point where, in this movie, all these scientists start getting. Oh, also, I'm sorry, let me mention, in this movie, Lex Luthor is in this movie as well. And this time, he, of course, in this movie, he's not the normal power-hungry Lex Luthor. In fact, he hates power, and he actually fears the Justice League, thinking that they have too much power and they'll destroy the world, will take it over. And so he's kind of an anti-Lex Luthor in this movie, okay, opposing the Justice League, okay. And of course, slowly but surely, these series of murders takes place with these scientists, these famous scientists. Ray Palmer, I think, is one of them. What's the other guy? What's the guy? Not Kurt Langstrom. Well, Magnus. All these scientists that actually worked under Lex Luthor years ago, they start getting murdered, and of course, and the method of them getting murdered seems like it's the Justice League that's doing it. Someone getting lasered, someone getting, kicked and sliced with a sword, and someone getting bit on the neck. So of course, people start to think when they do the forensics that it's the Justice League going around killing all these scientists. Of course, which kind of, turns the government against them, and they have to find out exactly who's framing them and why. And I really like this movie. This was a really well done movie, and they even they give you a little backstory on Kurt Langstrom and his history, and they'll give you a little backstory on Wonder Woman, Becca, on how she came to be, the widow queen of Darkseid, from the world of Darkseid, not Darkseid himself. She's actually going to marry what's his face? I forgot the guy's name. Darkseid's son. I forgot the character's name, but she's going to marry him. But anyway, this movie is really, really good in this, and you have doing the voice work, and you have Benjamin Bratt plays Superman, who I thought was really, really good. I even recognized that this was Benjamin Bratt's voice. Okay, you have Michael C. Hall as Batman, Kurt Langstrom, who I thought was the MVP. His character was kind of like MVP of this. And you have Tamara Taylor, who plays Wonder Woman Becca, and I liked her story as well. Okay, and it's just very well done. It was different, a different version of Justice League, but had action in it, and a good story and a good mystery. And I mean, this movie, let me say, this movie is bloody. A lot of people get killed in this movie. A lot of bloodletting in this movie. Yeah. But ultimately, it's entertaining, and I really enjoyed it. Like this, I enjoyed this different take on the Justice League. So I'm gonna give Justice League Gods and Monsters I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was different, and I liked the different takes and the backstories on, specifically on Kurt Langstrom, Batman and Becca, Wonder Woman. Their backstory was interesting and made it fun. And like I said, lots of mindless violence in this. A lot of people get killed in this movie. I mean, and brutally killed. So be forewarned about that. They get brutally killed in this movie, and it's a nice ultimate version of the Justice League, which I thought was very well done. So I love these DC animated movies, and this was another one that was very well done. Hats off to the creators for doing this. Okay, I definitely highly recommend this. So 7.5 for Justice League Gods and Monsters. I thought it was very well done. And The Gift, written and directed by Joel Edgerton. One of the best movies I've seen this year, 8.5. Outstanding performance, outstanding story, outstanding performances by the characters. Justin Bateman, I thought was really good, especially Joel Edgerton. He wrote and directed and starred in it. And Rebecca Hall. It's a nice thriller that slowly unfolds as it goes along, and things, turn out not to be what they are at first. And the ending will just blow you away. I'll put it that way. Okay, so an 8.5 for me for The Gift. Go see it. Anyway, let me know what you think of those two titles. Feel free to leave comments on below. And this is Trepacer saying so long and take care.